So hello everyone. Welcome back to our prompt engineering sessions and this special generative AI webinar. So today we're going to learn about a topic called as AutoPrompt, right? So let's begin with what is prompting in the first place. A simple explanation of how prompts guide language models. Basically, when you're manually crafting prompts, right, it becomes very time consuming. There's a lot of trial and error based approach. And sometimes even your prompts can be suboptimal. They can lead to suboptimal results or outputs. So let's introduce a new concept, which is, can machine actually learn the best prompts automatically? That's exactly what AutoPrompt does. It helps the machines learn the best prompts automatically on their own by trial process, right? So what exactly is AutoPrompt? AutoPrompt is a method to automatically generate adversarial trigger tokens that guide a pre-trained language model like your GPT or Gemini, Falcon for downstream tasks. So it will automatically generate adversarial trigger tokens which will guide your pre-trained LLMs. Instead of humans writing prompts, AutoPrompt will learn them with gradient-based search. So the prompts are not just instructions, rather they can be optimized just like the weights in the model. Now, how AutoPrompt works. First step, I can say define a template with some sort of blanks in it, right? Step 2 would be use gradient signals from the model to purpose candidate trigger tokens. Step 3 would be iteratively refine the tokens that maximize the performance on the task. And then finally, we evaluate the learned prompt on classification, relation extraction, or even sentiment tasks. For example, we give a manual prompt saying the movie was blank. AutoPrompt might learn the movie was utterly fantastic. Right? It could learn anything. So it works well for tasks like sentiment analysis, natural language inference, and also relation extraction. AutoPrompt can actually unlock knowledge which is stored inside these pre-trained LLMs without additional fine-tuning required. So in some tasks, it matches or outperforms supervised baselines. There are certain advantages and also limitations of these AutoPrompt. AutoPrompt's advantages could be that it eliminates manual trial and error in prompt engineering. It works across tasks with minimal supervision. It will reveal hidden knowledge inside those language models. And also there are a few limitations to this. The limitations could be learned prompts may look unnatural. For example, nonsense words sometimes will work best. Then requires gradient access, obviously not feasible with black box APIs, for example, with GPT-3. And then they're less interpretable for humans. For us, it becomes less interpretable and explainable. What could be some sort of applications of AutoPrompt? Zero shot or few shot learning, low resource NLP, educational AI. You can also think of a chatbot customization. All of this can be done using AutoPrompting. And what could be the future directions of auto prompting? It can combine. So you can combine auto prompt with RLHF and instruction tuning, then human and machine hybrid prompt design, and also better interpreting of results can be done in future. Now let's take an example, okay, of sentiment classification. Let's say the task that we have in hand is to predict if a given review of a product online is positive or negative. Let's say the manual prompt that the human puts is the movie was blank, and the large model has to give a prediction whether that in that blank is the are we indicating that the movie was good or was it bad, right? So the Opera prompt has learned the prompt and it will say the movie was so fun and gives a mask. And then the language model will predict saying that the blank part over there is nothing but great. The movie was so much fun. Great. So how would you manually phrase these kind of prompts? Right? Let's see. Then we also have another example of natural language inference, where the task is to decide if a hypothesis follows the premise. Premise says a man is playing a guitar. Hypothesis says a person is making music. Our manual prompt could be premise, hypothesis, is this true? The large language model might struggle. But if I give an auto prompt, learned prompt, premise, and the means hypothesis, it is mask. So large language model will predict true. Then we can also do relation extraction using this auto prompt. Relation extraction will basically help us identify relationship between different entities. The input can be Marie Curie was born in Warsaw. The relation is place of birth. Manual prompt we can give is Marie Curie was born in space blank. The large language model can fill in Poland, but it might not always be correct, right? Whereas auto prompt has learned the prompt and will say Marie Curie came into the world in Warsaw with better accuracy. We can also use this for knowledge probing. Ask the language model a factual question, maybe. The manual prompt could be the capital of France is blank. And the auto prompt can come up with a learned prompt Paris is the dash of France. Both succeed, but what happens with auto prompt is it often finds strange token placements like the capital city space France is Paris, which still works. Then I can give you another example where we can show a failure case. Right? Sometimes auto prompt will learn nonsense words where the long learned prompt might include clonk or zop, some random letters and words which don't make any sense, right? Yet the language model will perform well. So basically we want you to think, why do you think a random looking token actually helps the model? Right? The answer is it's exploiting the hidden statistical associations inside the large language model's training space. This is all about auto prompting and how it is beneficial to us. So if you see the original prompt here, original prompt says a real joy, and the triggering tokens given say atmosphere, a real joy, atmosphere, a lot, dialogue, clone, etc. And I'm giving a template saying the sentence followed by all of these trigger tokens. And then the prompt. So the auto prompt shows a real joy, a atmosphere, a lot dialogue, clone totally, and then mask. And this masked language model will go and tell me the output whether this was positive. Sentence classification, sentiment analysis example is given here. It will tell us whether it is positive or negative, it will pick up the components into a sentence classification. So auto prompting can drastically be advantageous to us. It will end up saving a lot of time consumed. It will end up with enhanced way of prompting, right? Better way of prompting will come up with sophisticated prompts which you can reuse again and again by adding a template to it. So that's all about auto prompting. We will tune in again, learn a lot more things about prompt engineering and generative AI. Then we will eventually move on to agentic AI, right? Thank you so much for joining in today.